All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit recording. We'll have more join. John, do me a favor, post a Slack message, just a reminding, if you wouldn't mind, since you probably have it in front of you. Okay, so part of why I invited everybody to this is, you can feel free, if you'd like, in the coming weeks to invite your team members as well. MAPS Coaching has a program, and the program is called CEP. I believe a few of you may have even came in through MAPS Coaching on CEP. And basically the program is, it's to get people used to, that have never had a coach, to be in coaching. You guys have me as a coach. I'm also several of your team leaders as well. But the whole purpose of it is to get you used to coaching. And there's 4 fundamentals. As with MAPS Coaching and Mastery, you're supposed to make $150,000 a year to qualify for it. And so there's 4 fundamentals. It starts with schedule. It starts with lead gen, database. And then there's many more that I'd say are added to that. Now, all of you struggle with schedule. Is there anybody here that is on this call today that you feel that like your schedule is perfect and on point, other than me?
I feel pretty good about mine.
Okay. And why do you think yours is so like, Ben, you lack bullshit out of every single person on this call. That is the thing that I love what you do on every level is you take out the BS and you just, you're
Well, I haven't time blocked for any bullshit.
correct.
So that's probably the reason why. And I say that because not like I have this mastery over my schedule, like some sort of like superhero or whatever. I believe that I have a good understanding of the way time blocking and scheduling should work. It is a guideline. It's not, it can bend, but it can't break. If you erase, you must replace, as Gary says. And it's also just like they say, if you can tell what someone's priorities are based on their calendar and their budget. Mm-hmm. I just feel like there's enough wiggle room in there, and I use it as a guide. Do I do everything on my schedule exactly when it's allotted? No, but just having an understanding of what the framework for your day looks like, mm-hmm. and you accomplish things, and you the problem that I see a lot of people have is they may have time blocks, but they don't have a checklist for what's supposed to happen within those time blocks. So that I think is a big difference.
And I want to mention that. So you guys know I'm a fan of checklists and tasks. Ben uses Asana. So Asana, and do you feel like Asana helps keep you on track compared to what you do during it to your checklist and your block?
Oh yeah. I don't know how we would operate without it. So we have a rule on our team that if it takes less than 5 minutes, a task, you can probably go ahead and do it. If it is something that takes more than 5 minutes, it needs to be a task on a checklist. And if it takes more than 15 minutes, it needs to be a task on a checklist contained within a time block, admin, prospecting, whatever. And those are rules that kind of keep us on track. But again, I think where most people go wrong with schedule is they think that it needs to be perfect. This is not the United States Constitution. And actually, that's a great example, because even the United States Constitution, the reason why that document is so beautiful is because of its flexibility. Mm-hmm. Your schedule should be like that.
Mm-hmm. And guys, the reason why we start on coaching fundamentals on schedule is once we get through that and we get through all the, removing the BS and looking at what we do like business owners, we're going to have more time. and we're going to be able to do more things during the day. So I love that Ben uses Asana. To my knowledge, I think other than Ben and maybe John, because you work from home, everyone else struggles with their efficiency on their schedule and their timelines. So this is, once we get through just the simplicity of this, it will allow us to be able to move forward on lead generating and Sphere and growing our business and growing those fundamentals. Now I'm going to go through, I always say that, I feel like sometimes I'm on the shoulder of giants. I share with you guys a lot, in my coaching and leading, that I share with you the things that I personally do, because I feel like we're a proponent of those things. And I would not be a great coach if I'm not doing the things I'm showing you. Now, I'm going to start before I go to fundamentals, and I'm just going to show you something I've been doing for efficiency. And I'm going to have Gracie send out the link. Shonda was amazing enough that she found the link where you guys can actually print out these checklists. Lenore, I know you were not a fan of the pad that I've been using, and I shared with you just a few of you that I've been doing this. Now, we're going to go through the fundamentals, but I like to share with you what I'm doing, because it's not perfect, but I'm very efficient on my schedule and my task and the things that I am doing. And my efficiency has become more and more as I grow. It's just a matter of following your schedule and putting absolutely everything in it. So I use this, and on the top is where I add the blocks on the things I'm going to focus in. And because my staff controls my schedule, you'll even see here, I'm like, please don't book anything additional. So because if I don't, they're going to book, because I have other projects I'm working on. So we're going to dive into what the reason we're here, MAPS fundamentals, but I'm just going to share with you something in addition to my schedule that's been working for me. And Shonda did find the actual check sheet if you guys would like to start doing this.
30.
Hold on one second. Let me mute. All right, so I muted. If you guys want to raise your hand or just unmute yourself. This is a collaboration for us to learn and grow together. So this is just something I personally do in addition to my Google Calendar, because I'm very task oriented. Like Ben uses Asana. I like to see the task and the projects that I'm working on, and I want to simplify it for you guys. So this is just something I've been doing. So the time box, the back of it is where I write my additional task. And the whole concept around it is declutter your mind, write down all the tasks you wish to get done today. Brain dumping is a technique that formulates your abstract thoughts and put it on paper. Clarity is the foundation of productivity. Now, I do have top 3 tasks that I focus on every day. A lot of that has to do with, we've talked about things like your GPS and things like that, which our 4th week, we're going to make sure you have an updated GPS. This ensures that you don't overlook your most vital tasks. So top 3 priorities. Now, I do write out for the entire week on Sunday. I plan my schedule, and then I write out in the paper, in the pad, because I like to check off things I do. I like to know who I call. I like to work on my tasks. So I put everything in 30-minute increments, and it allocates a time period. This will give you a visual indication of how much time you have to achieve your task. And remember, the time box should be treated like a blank canvas. So you can overlap time boxes to create longer periods of time. So like I start my day before 5 o'clock, but I love this is the first one I've seen that starts so early and so late, and it's in 30-minute increments. Now, this is an example of what it looks like. Like Ben said, and I'm mentioning to him, he said, you've got your time block, but you don't have the task around it. So this is just a simplicity. Most of you all need to start with simplicity. I love everyone on Asana or Trello, but you need to get through the simplicity factor of making sure that your schedule is a schedule, and you can look at the end of the day and say, okay, I did this much, or I accomplished this much, or I spoke to this person. But this shows you brain dump, so marketing strategies where you can break it down, managing finances, break it down, and then you'll see this is just an example of the schedule. Now, on the back of the page is where I put my additional task. So you guys, you've learned, many of you, what a GPS is, and the whole GPS concept is you've got your goal with 3 priorities and the things to execute on it. A lot of the KW language is the 80-20 principle. So we focus on the 20%, but we still have that 80%. So that should be done in task lists. Many of you have assistants and admins. We need to make sure at the end of the day that you have time to check in. I personally, you'll see I have here daily check-in. I check in with my COO at the end of the day, and the questions are with her. How was your day? Anything I need to know? Anything I can help you with? So many of you need to look at your staff. You need to look at the people that work for you, and you need to be able to see exactly what they're doing, give feedback, and continue to grow. You also need to make sure to put your personal and your family time. So let's dive into this. I've got 15 minutes of your time. I want to be respectful, and I also want to open for questions. So prior to the start of the new year, schedule your days off, vacation days for the upcoming year, count your work days. So you should have your Google Calendar. You should have, if you're doing a paper written schedule, Gary always teaches that we put our family first. Many of you are moms, or you're in a situation where you feel like, how can I do work? How can I also focus on family and things to that nature? And you can do it all. You just have to have it in there and then be efficient during the time frame. So I'm going on a vacation next week. That's in my schedule. And that's something that I never take vacations, but this is a conference and I'm going to be learning and growing. So you can see vacation, and then it blocks down everything that's in there. So you guys putting that vacation time, putting holidays, if you want to take off the week of Christmas, put it in there. Set time blocks that are no longer than 2-hour increments. Schedule a 2-hour time block for yourself early in the morning. The activities on your schedule should reflect your family, your business, in that order. So, you know, again, I'm just showing you example on what I do is here's a call. Here's my day tomorrow. So again, I get up insanely early. However, you know, for you guys, it's whatever time you wake up at. So 4 to 4:45, I've got coffee and devotional time. I'm checking in on a Facebook group that I manage. You know, I've got my 5 a.m. call. I do the couch to 5K. And then this block right here that I don't have anything for, at 6 a.m., I'm waking up my little one. I'm making breakfast. So in essence, I should probably put that, but I just know default that that's what I'm doing when I'm done with exercise and spending time with my husband. So you guys have to put that time. I now set the coffee pot at night where the smell of coffee wakes me up. So you got to do what works for you. I can only share what works for me, but you got to do what works for you. So every one of you should have that on your schedule. Now go to bed at the same time, Sunday through Thursday. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but what I will tell you, when you get into the habits and you get into, I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock every morning, you kind of just fall and it becomes a habit. I can't stay awake probably longer than 9:30 at night. But again, that's the habit that I choose. Many of you are night owls. Many of you have spouses that are night owls, and you may sleep in a little later. So it's a balance. Okay. Review your schedule for the next day before the night. So on Sundays, I plan my schedule, but before I go to bed, I'm reviewing it. I'm reviewing my paper schedule. I'm reviewing my actual calendar. I do that because I have an admin that books additional things on my schedule. And I just want to make sure that my morning didn't stop. The morning that I have, it didn't change, and that I have everything on there and I know what my day is expected to do. So you guys should, each one of you that are doing lead generation, when you wake up, you should know, this is my lead generation for the day. This is who I'm going to call. It's not just pulling it out of a hat. At the beginning of the week, we need to know what we're focusing on in those lead generating activities. The reason why coaching fundamentals schedule is number one, it seems so rudimentary, but every single one of us schedule, we struggle on this. And if we can just be as efficient as we can during the time that we have that we're focusing on our business, you're going to see more and you're going to have more happen in your world. My own coach, 2 years ago, I was getting up around 6:30, 7 o'clock. I kept wanting to do more. I wanted to be more efficient. I wanted to have different responsibilities and grow myself personally. Every week she'd come back and say, okay, what else do you think you need to do to do more? And it kept, okay, I need to get up earlier. Okay. And that's where now it's a habit. It's hard as you get into that routine, but as you're consistent with it, it's not as hard. So we need to take the emotion out, think like business owners, and have that predictable schedule. Now add a $sign to these dollar generating activities on your schedule: lead generating, lead follow-up, appointments, writing and negotiating contracts, and role play. So each and every one of you, most of you all have lead generation on your schedule. The problem is you don't know what you're lead generating for and what you're doing when you sit down and you do that lead generation. So that's where having at the beginning of the week, I'm going to focus on sending out 100 letters this week, and I'm going to pull the list at the beginning of the week, and this is who I'm sending those letters out to. I know I'm sitting down at a dialer and I'm going to call for 2 hours, this many expireds. You have to have a plan for lead generation. If you don't have a plan, that's why you're not successful at it and you're not growing. The agents that are on here, over half of you are making more than 100,000 a year. That's because you have a plan for it and you're consistent and you're doing it. But many of you can double that in your leading teams. And if they knew, hey, I'm going to follow up on my leads and I'm going to call this many people, I'm going to do script and role play. You have to have those things and you have to put it in your schedule. All of you have different income goals. So many of you are, hypothetical. Some of you are making 300,000-400,000 a year. And if you knew that when you're sitting down, what you're focusing on that creates the most amount of income for you, you should have every house, every sale that you've had in the last 12 months and before, and know exactly where that lead came from. And that's where we need to create a plan to double down on that. Those of you that are new, or those that are listening, because some of you as team leaders are sending this out to your team after, you need to have that focus with your team on, if it's an open house, that you're actually going before the open house the day before and you're populating the neighborhood. That the calls at the end of the week, and I'm going to share with you Gracie, her, she is my admin extraordinaire, but I'm sharing with you her end-of-day report. I personally do these myself, and that's where I went to. I was typing it up, but I put them in the time box that I showed you, because I like to see a list of everything I am doing during the day. Now, you should have it at the end of your report. You can see here she has 2 outgoing referrals that happen. You guys should have, okay, this is who I spoke to today. This is where the lead came from. This is what I did regarding this lead. Because in order to grow your business and to be able to continue to make more, or net that $1 million that everybody wants to net, or you want to hit that $100,000 this year, whatever your income goal is, We have to look at what's working and we need to double down on it and stop focusing our efforts on the things that are not working. Lead generation is always in the morning. Now, the reason it's in the morning is because that sets yourself up for the day. But if you're in a situation that it can't be in the morning, maybe you've got kids or whatever that schedule looks like, you just have to have that consistency and you have to know what that lead generation is. Make up any missed lead generation time in the afternoon or on Saturdays. If you've missed lead generation time, adjust and decrease your income goals. Many of you like passive lead generation, and that's okay and it works. You just have to be consistent. So what that looks like, it could be, I'm going to spend $500 a week and I'm going to send out letters. Now, if you're not going to stuff envelopes, then it's the easy button, somebody mailing out those letters for you. So that's where you have to have a plan on what's working and what I'm going to commit to. And if you're not going to commit to 2 hours of lead generation, or Gary says we have to double that now due to what's happening in our world, then it could be you're going to get a runner. You're going to do 500 letters a week. You're going to do 500 letters at the beginning of the month, whatever your budget is. So this is the most important part. And again, guys, it's so simple, but I should be able to have a conversation with every one of you and say, okay, my lead generation time, I'm going to focus on bringing in new investment properties, and I'm going to go to PropStream, and I'm going to mail out this, or I'm going to call this. And you should be able at a glance to know everything that you're doing to create income and how, at the end of the day, what the results were. I spoke to 10 real estate investors. I followed up on leads. I have 10 people in my pipeline. Whatever that looks like, we need to get through this aspect. And once we get through this aspect and we're consistent for a good 30 to 60 days, you're going to see things start popping. Now, make up any missed lead generation time. Now, use a planner for efficiency. Now, you guys, I've spent time with Gary, quite a bit of it, and he walks around with, I call it the spiral planner. He's got his stickers on the top of it, the rock and roll, and everything is still in a Google Calendar, but he likes to at a glance be able to write things down. And I believe to have two personally. Have the one you write down because you can add additional tasks in the things that you do. So Gary says, I use a paper planner because of perspective, even though you can use a digital planner, that will open things up. It gives you the same sense of perspective. I can see at a glance 30 days. What I'm doing, you'll be fumbling around and can tell what I'm doing. He likes to have the easy button, so he can look at this, and then his staff will, his assistant will update his other calendar. Now, live the bold law. If it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. Now, if something happens and you do it and it's not in your schedule, add it to your schedule. I was on a coaching call earlier. I had an important call come through halfway through that's been added to my schedule. So I know at the end of the day, okay, this is what I did today. Post a copy of your schedule at home. Now, my husband, I don't have a schedule on the fridge, but he has access, and my Google Calendar is on his phone. And I'll wake up in the morning and he'll be getting my son ready. And he's like, oh, honey, you've got a really busy day today. I'll go ahead and pick up David. So being able to have that communication with your spouse is important. Many of your spouses don't know what the heck you did during the day. Now, if your spouse knew, okay, I spent 2 hours and I called 50 people, or I have 10 buyers that I went out and showed, whatever that looks like, having that communication. So that's where going back to your schedule and being able to, at the top of your schedule, have those additional things that you did. It will be helpful if you're sharing your schedule that is electronically with your spouses, and it will help me as your coach to be able to look at, okay, Nicole, she spoke to HUD. She got onboarded with HUD, so she went through a training and then went out and inspected 5 properties. And Jason did 10 previews, and this is where the previews. And when he was doing the previews, you went out and did 100 door hangers. Having those things to be able to look at in 90 days, hey, I'm not hitting my income goals, and for us to really look at what you did is important. So if you look at, hey, all of us had, I call them real jobs. It's been a long time since I've had one. But all of us have had them where you clock in and you clock out. They know everything you did during that time frame. And some of you were police officers, some of you ran big businesses. They knew what you did. So if we treated or what we did, like we had that job report at the end of the day, and we could look at, okay, this is what I did for efficiency. I checked my staff member and I set up my staff for the beginning of the week. They know everything they're doing in a plan. It's going to allow you to make so much more money and be efficient and have more time. Now, I want to see a copy of your schedule. You should be able to share your schedule with me as your coach and with your family. When you do not have an appointment, work on these activities. So I have, because someone books my schedule, I have during the white space, this is what I'm doing. And that allows her to know that she can book unless I say you can't. So you should, if you're committing to a 40-hour a week work week, and you want to make sure your team continues to grow and you're hitting your financial goals, if you've got nothing to do, hypothetical, some of you feel this way and that it happens sometimes, and you've scheduled your downtime, you've done the things that you've done, maybe your showing's canceled. Hop in the car and go put 100 door hangers out. If you haven't hit your direct neighborhood with golden letters, go and put door hangers out in your neighborhood. You need to have things that you revert to when things are happening in your world and maybe they get canceled or you have white space. So this is an example of activities: lead generate, lead follow up, clean up your database. If you don't have every single solitary person that you work with, Ben, who's on this call, he's got a method that if that buyer's not ready now, they're off. If they don't fit in his box, they're not going to be someone his people work with. You guys spin your wheels with a lot of people that are a waste of time. You should be able to look at a glance, hey, I have these 10 buyers, this is what they're buying. And when you clean up your database, that will allow that to do that. Study the current real estate market, preview properties, meet with a community influencer, role play, review your business plan, whatever that looks like. But if you're committing to that 40-hour a week work week, and some of you only work about 20 to 25 hours and you're making over 200 grand a year, imagine if you can be more efficient during that time. Or we bring in additional leverage. So if you get off track in the morning, start where you left off. Know that we're not perfect. Things happen. My kid today, there was a bad accident, and I think my husband spent almost an hour in the car. Things happen that derail us. So you just have to be able to readjust. Now, time blocking is number one to master to be massively successful. And now these are things I want you to ask yourself. When you are sitting down and you're preparing your schedule for the week, when you are, most of you feel like I have no time, I don't have time to add additional things, and you want to be efficient. If you just think like task and workflow, that's where I love the task systems like Asana and Trello or the time box. And you've got a list of things that you're doing during that white space that you can revert to. Hey, lead generation, but what's your lead generation? So I want you to ask yourself, why is controlling your time your biggest issue? On a scale of 1 to 10, what level of accountability do you need? I want you to share this with me. If you want a 10 level of accountability, you know what that's going to look like? You're going to be texting me when you wake up, and then you're going to text me at the end of the day what you accomplished. If you don't want that high of an accountability, then we need to figure out what is going to get you excited and what is going to allow you to be able to grow. My coach has a list of all of my tasks, what I accomplish. And during the week, I'll get random texts on, looks like you took the afternoon off, or it looks like you had a busy week, because she goes in, and I like pain. That's the level of accountability I like. So we need to determine what it is for you. If you do not follow the dollar generating activities in your schedule, do you agree that we need to adjust or decrease your income goals? So we're going to work on next week lead generating. You guys need to pick what you're lead generating for, how you're doing it, and then and look at how much is in your pipeline now and what is that gap. If you need to make 40,000 by the end of the year, we need to make sure we're doing those actions. So Gary says that you should have no more than 5 sources of business to pursue every year. What are your top 3 sources? So most schedule and database. It's September. Every one of you should have a list of people you're going to send out Christmas cards to. There are certain simple things that you can do. There's an app that you can, I'm going to share it with you once we do to the referral basis, but there is a awesome app. And hold on, I'll tell you exactly what it is. If you don't have a list of, if you're having an issue right now on potentially you are, sorry, some projects I'm working on that I knew that it was in. So if you have a hypothetical, you don't have your contacts and you feel like, you know what, I don't have the, hold on, my word is opening. I'm getting the app. There's an app you can download on your phone, and you can download it and export every single person in your address book in your phone. And when you export them, it's called Cove, COVVE, and it's free. It's really, really great. And it allows you to export for free everybody in your address book on your phone into a CSV file that you can upload into your database, and you can send them all a text. And just, you guys know my favorite touch with the people in your world is, hey, just checking on you. Hope everything's good with your family. Can I have your most updated address? Now, when you, Sean, honey, bring me that send out card that you pinned up. I want to show people the back on what it looks like for those that don't know. So when you are out and you're touching your database, maybe you don't have anybody in your pipeline, you want to increase your referrals. That's the most simplest way. I like the easy button. So export everybody into a CSV file and then shoot them a text message and actually get, let me have it, please. Yeah, so hold on, let me just drop the, you don't have to ask for business. A simple touch could be a look on the back of this. So we have our logo here. You can do a call to action on the back, but look, we've got to love my team. They actually sent me a picture of me, and then in here a message. So, but on the back, that could be how simple it is for the Christmas cards, and then you can then ask for business. So again, we got to look at what we're doing, and we need to just be efficient on what that looks like. All of us should have at least 100 Christmas cards going out, or even Thanksgiving and Christmas or Halloween, whatever works for you. But that's super important. Now, keep in mind, and I'm hearing a lot of buzz in the Facebook groups around Halloween. Last year, my kid couldn't go trick or treating. A lot of you are not as, I'd say, COVID freaked out as I still am. But you can actually do the baggies or Ziploc bags with candy and put something in there with your business card or contact information, and put some candy and line it up where the kids can grab it this year. Or you can do drop-offs in your neighborhood. So let's look at our budget. Let's look at where we need to be. Now, what in your schedule is not working? So you have to put time for yourself. You guys know I'm super dorky, and I share with you everything that I do. If I didn't have my Hallmark movie, which again, I can't wait for Christmas to come because I get all my, fluffy movies. I would, my schedule and my routine, that works for me. What works, what in your schedule is not working? If you're not going to the gym, then remove it from your schedule. Things that you're not committing to. Now, I know that you agree that your schedule starts the night before. How is that going for you? How are you setting up your day for the next day? And I'm going to, again, just show you examples because I lead by example. Now at the end of the day, all right, so dinner with family, walk before bed. I have a fasting app that I hit the button on, and then I set up my coffee pot. For you, it could be preparing where you're making lunch, or you're creating something to go in a pot roast, or your crock pot you're setting up. Whatever you need to do to prepare for the next day, you have to put that in your schedule. It's very important. Now, what is an affirmation that you say to hold you accountable to your schedule? You know, some of you may or may not believe in affirmations. Those are really great. So I would recommend adding an affirmation. What is the schedule that you use, the system used to track? Who has access to your schedule? Who should have access? When will you tell your family your schedule is not working and you're going to adjust or decrease your income goals? So there's some additional things here, and I'm running a little bit behind. Your morning schedule is the most important part of your day. What are your greatest opportunities and distractions within your morning? Who is your strongest accountability partner and why? And if you don't have one, we need to find one. Or you tell me, again, that level of accountability, and text me, email me, whatever that looks like. I want to help hold you accountable. What stands in the way of your commitment to your schedule? What makes the distractions more important than your plan? What could derail you in your future? How should we anticipate that? What advice would you give your friends? What is the connection of your schedule to your goals? What is not following it going to cost you? What will following it get you? And at the end of the day, how do you feel about what you accomplished? So this is, this particular exercise, I've seen it help so many people. And guys, I know it's simple. And I know it sounds like it's me being a broken record and being a pain in the ass. But if we just sit down and you can see at the end of the day, I spoke to 10 buyers, I did this, I fed my family, I was able to watch a movie. You're able to look at those actions and see what you did. You're going to feel so much better about what that looks like. And again, I think 2 of us, or maybe 2.5 of us, are really strong at our schedule. If we can just make sure, and you guys as team leaders, look at your team, look, and people on my team, look at, I should be able to say when I have my one-on-ones with you in the next week or so, Ashley, tell me today how many people that you contacted, what was the outcome of that contact? We're not doing this just to do this and sit around and twiddle our thumbs. You should know at the end of the day that you spent 2 hours on lead generation and what the outcome of it is. And if there was not a good outcome, I'll give you an example. A lot of you are on a dialer and you're making crappy contact ratios. I'd rather show you how to be able to go out and populate every expired's door instead of only maybe getting 2 people on the phone. Okay. So anyway, I hope you guys got value from this. Next week, it's all about lead generation. Lead generation's a lot. So you guys got that link if you want to join or invite your team members. But there are a lot of different tactics around lead generation. We just have to get the schedule down pat. And actually, I'm sorry, it's not next week because I'm going to amplify. So you guys have some time, really sit down and look in the mirror and look at what you accomplished during the day and what changes you can do, what's creating income, and how you can grow that. And if you're stumped, I just need to see what you're doing and I can help you through it. But most of you give me time blocks on, oh, I did lead generation. But if I ask you, what'd you lead generate? You have no freaking clue. Okay. So I put my tough coach hat on because, you know, I'm a fluffy teddy bear and I've probably cried with most of you, but I hope you guys got value on this. I'm going to send out the recording and I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Does anyone have feedback, questions, thoughts, or anything before we move? Is there something that's working for you? Will you send out an invite for next week? Yes, Gracie will send out invites. So, and this is my team, and this is my coaching clients and their team members. And guys, just know that if you're inviting your team members, those that have teams, my team's on here too, so we're neutral and focusing on everything. But again, this program is great with MAPS. This is the CEP program. So if you can mention to your team leader, you're going through the CEP training. But I just want to help you guys have really awesome Christmases. Okay. Thoughts? No one has any? I think I need to stop with the coffee because I'm on my second pot. Yeah, so any thoughts, questions, anything? Who do we have there, Ben? Hi. I don't even recognize. Hi.
I cut my hair, that's why.
This is Lisa, my ride or die. She's
Ben's
awesome.
Lukaya. So no,
she's
you
the
do
standard by which excellence is measured.
Yeah, which is why I have to defend snarky emails now.
Lisa, you do look different. So
I cut my hair by accident.
Oh, well, I have my COVID hair, which is called a ponytail, and it's funny because I'm really enjoying this virtual background. It's amazing, and you guys know I'm a dork, but look how horrible my hair looks. It takes all the,
Amazing.
Look at the difference. It literally hides my crappy hair. See? There you go.
That is probably the coolest thing I've ever seen, and is a little bit life-changing as far as having to brush my hair before meetings.
It's all good.
Hey, Christina, we just thought we'd say hi. How are you doing? What's going on? What's up?
Oh, hi. You're there. Hi. Mr.
Well,
Adair.
technically, I'm teaching Ignite today. Kelly was out, so I had to step in.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So I miss you all.
Thank you for saying hi.
Hello.
We had a good training, so I'll be sending it out to everybody, and I'll see you later today.
Yay!
Yeah, James, good seeing you. James is our leader of our Tampa crew, and Shonda is our leader of our Orlando crew. So, all right, guys, any thoughts, questions, anything? If not, I'll see you soon, and I'll go ahead and send out this recording, and take some time, put our big people pants on, take some time, look at really what we do, and look and see it. Just really think how I can hold you accountable to it. If you need help, or your spouse, I share with mine, and he'll even be like, hey, aren't you supposed to be on Zoom? What are you doing? So, have that person that helps hold you accountable. So, all right, guys, I love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.